What's going on, people? So this video, I want to touch on how to negotiate the best payouts and exclusive deals and opportunities. So this is a topic that I think is, again, the cliche, super important. But like every topic, right? Every topic is super important because obviously, this is from my personal experience. I'm talking about things that I've dealt with or come up against or found that have worked. Obviously, it's going to be super important to to get the message across. I'm not going to be talking about anything that's oh, you could use this, but do you know what I mean? So again, excuse the overused phrase of being super important, but it is. So anyway, right? So how to negotiate best payouts. I want to talk about a few things here. Okay, so this part is going to be more applicable to beginners, people brand new to this, because what you're going to find coming into this with no experience, no pre-existing relationships, no leverage, is you're going to be on the lowest payouts, okay? Because you don't have that existing leverage. So the whole game plan here is for you to build leverage, okay? And I think that comes in two ways. The first way I would recommend is obviously we go through the training, we pick our offer, we pick our niche, etc., etc. One of the things in when we're picking an offer is we want to find offers that are from proven vendors, right? That have good offers, that we know have offers that convert, that aren't just like one-hit wonders that, they come out, they scale, and then they shelve them. We want to try and find, again, going back to those two key words, longevity and consistency, right? Because that shows that the vendor works on that offer, that they're not just going to put it to bed as soon as it's had its, moment. And there are vendors out there that do that, right? So what we want to do is we want to try and build that leverage. So finding an offer with a good vendor is crucial, okay? So once we found that offer, one of the things that I recommend you do when first starting out is you go on a rev share payout, meaning you take a percentage. So that percentage could be anywhere from 50 to 85% of the what's left over after ClickBank prices, right? So if you find a good offer and you get a decent commission, the reason why I want to go rev share to start with is because we want to find what our average payout is, okay? Because what you'll find a lot of the time can happen is there's a difference between the rev share payout and a CPA payout. The CPA payout being a static payout, okay? So you can get a CPA payout on most ClickBank offers and it'll be a set payout, okay? So that could be $100 per conversion. That could be a street payout. A street payout meaning the lowest payout, the basic payout, the payout that's available to anyone no matter their experience. Okay, so let's say for this particular offer, it's a $100 CPA payout, okay? Now, the reason why I want to go rev share first is what we might find is actually our rev share payout comes out to $125, okay? So that's our average payout. Our average commission is $125 when going down the rev share route. Now, let's say with a rev share payout, we have to factor in that we're going to have refunds and chargebacks, okay? With a CPA payout, we don't have those refunds and chargebacks. It's a static payout. Now, let's say our rev share payout is only getting 5% refunds and chargebacks. So for every $125 rev share payout, 5% is getting taken back from us, which equates to something like $6 or $7. So we're still left with $118 on that rev share payout, which is $18 better than a CPA payout. Now we've got an idea what our average commission is, okay? Our average payout on that rev share, factoring in refunds and chargebacks. We've also now sent a few sales. Maybe we've sent 20 sales, 30 plus sales to that vendor, to that offer. So now we have leverage, we have skin in the game. And we also know, pretty much what our average payout is. So now we can go and approach that vendor and say, look, the CPA payout is $100 for this, but I know I'm getting X amount, factoring in refunds and chargebacks. Can you look and see what can be done? They'll go and look at the data and see, yeah, there's something that we can be done here. Most of the vendors are making the money on the back end through, recurring, through high ticket phone sales, through cross promotions, affiliate promotions on their email list. So they're quite happy to break even on the front end. Even some will go into a loss on the front end to make sure that they get customers being sent in, knowing that they can make money on the back end, right? So now you've got that leverage. Now you've got that skin in the game. Now you know what your average payout is. You can sort of negotiate that higher payout. So maybe the vendor's going to say, okay, we can pay out $125 payout and see how we go. Okay. So that $125 is $25 better off than your $100 payout. Okay. Already, that's insane, right? $125 payout. That doesn't matter about refunds and chargebacks because that's your static payout. $125 no matter what your refunds and chargebacks. Obviously, if your refunds and chargebacks go back through the roof, your vendor's going to start renegotiating and say this needs to be brought down. Okay, but $125. So let's say your CPA, your actual cost per acquisition, is $95. Okay, now you're making $30 profit per sale and you don't have to worry about refunds and chargebacks. That's insane. Now, also, there might be more room for negotiation as you scale, as you send more volume. So let's say you send another 500 sales and you're making $30 profit per sale. And now you revisit with the vendor and it says, oh, well, actually, we can move this to 130, 135. I've even had payouts that started at 100, moved to 140, $150 per payout. Okay. So that's like a 50% increase. It's insane. And there's a lot that can be said. If you can start making it work on the low payouts, on the rev share, right? And you get skin in the game and leverage and you get numbers where you know your numbers, which is, again, ultimately super important, knowing your numbers, then you can sort of renegotiate and get that higher payout. And that can change the game, right? If you can make a $100 payout work or, a rev share, low rev share payout work, and then get skin in the game and leverage and then renegotiate that payout, you can blow the game up because now you maintain that cost per acquisition, but you get 40-50% more payout, which is absolutely ridiculous. All right, so let's talk about a few other ways and opportunities that can come from this, from leverage. So let's say you start working with this vendor and this offer is crushing, right? Well, now you can also, again, using this skin in the game, using this leverage, if you're one of the only affiliates that's scaling, then you can also approach this vendor and say, what about if I have this exclusive? What if I'm the only affiliate running and I can guarantee that I can send X amount of sales per day, right? And obviously that could be averaged over a week or whatever. It doesn't have to be all, at least 1,000 sales per day. Maybe it's 5,000 sales every week you can send, and you go heavy on the weekend and you sort of pull back through the week, which we quite often see. It's not a bad offer, right? Again, the vendor is looking for less headaches. Managing and taking crap from 200 affiliates, most of them sending a trickle of sales, is a headache, right? As opposed to working with one high volume affiliate or a handful of high volume affiliates. The vendor's going to be looking for the, less headaches, okay? So getting it exclusive, not a bad idea, right? Not a bad pitch. If you're going to, negotiate some kind of structure where you can say, I'm going to send this amount of sales. And if I do so, and if I meet that, criteria, the offer stays exclusive to me. Maybe the affiliate or the vendor doesn't want to have it completely exclusive. So maybe there's something that you can work out where it's only exclusive to you on Facebook, if Facebook's your primary traffic source, or YouTube, if YouTube's your primary traffic source. Or maybe they'll only take 2 to 3 affiliates per traffic source, right? Again, less headaches for you because there's less people that are going to be able to rip and run your ads and run the same offer. So your congruency, your messaging is going to be relevant to that offer. No one else can run that offer. So it doesn't make sense to rip and run your ad. Okay. So again, it's going to work out good for you as well. Less competition on that ad means there's more scale. There's less, affiliate scaling, which is another great thing. Okay. Now let's talk about something else, which I've started really using over the last year or two, is getting into JV deals. Okay. So again, let's take that example of you working with that one vendor. You're getting offers exclusive. You're getting higher payouts. Now, maybe the time is, can I take a percentage of the whole thing? A small percentage. You ain't going to go in and you're like, 50-50 split. But there's opportunity to take 10%, 15%, 20% even of the whole thing, right? Of affiliate promotions on the back end from customers being generated. Now, if you're one of the sole affiliates of this offer, then it kind of makes sense that you get a slice of that back end, the affiliate promotions, the email revenue, because most of that traffic is coming from you. Now, again, this has worked for me in a sense where I help a vendor test the offer and get it to a level where they're open to accepting more affiliates. And then I take a percentage of the whole thing, right? So the rev share, affiliates generating front end sales, I take a commission, a small commission of that. And then I'll take a commission of the back end of cross promotions, affiliate promotions, phone ticket sale, or high ticket phone sales, etc., generated across the board on that offer. Now, this type of deal can really blow things up, especially if you have a few of these deals in place. I can quite easily make $1,000 plus a day just from the commission of the affiliate front end sales. Okay. That doesn't take into account the back end. That is just literally the small percentage commission of affiliate sales, which is insane. $1,000 a day plus for doing nothing, right? My work's been done. I've tested the offer. I've helped scale it. I've got it to a position where the offer's optimized. Now I can, sit back and make $1,000 a day plus the affiliate revenue, which can quite easily, again, $1,000, $2,000 plus per day in revenue. So now I can make a few $1,000s per day with very little work needed. Now, if I have a few of these deals set up, you're talking 5 figures a day from doing very little. So this opportunity isn't very often spoke about, and I've never seen anyone talk about it in any courses. But for me, this is probably the number one opportunity. Now, there's got to be groundwork done. Like, this isn't going to be, you just walk in and be like, yo, can I take a slice of that? No, it's going to be the answer. You've got to earn this opportunity. So that means you've got to get that skin in the game. Is it going to come after sending 50 sales in a day, 50 sales to the vendor? No, it's going to probably come after a few thousand sales at least. And it's going to come after showing that you have the nous and the ability to send high volume, right? The vendor's looking for high volume sales, high volume traffic, so they can optimize their offers quicker. Okay, so that is going to come from, you putting a lot of effort, a lot of skin in the game, a lot of your own money up front, potentially at a loss, okay, in order to get that opportunity, okay? And the opportunity is there. Look how many offers are on ClickBank. How many, new offers come out every week. How many vendors are there? How many good vendors are there? Another place where this is going to happen, and this is where I've found my, biggest JV, is through going to the ClickBank Diamond. So, the Diamond Awards up here, going to those events have put me in touch personally, face to face with some of the biggest vendors on ClickBank. And that obviously, meeting people face to face, sharing a beer, sharing tea, dinner, sitting in the pool, sitting in the spa, sitting on the beach, wherever it is, going on these excursions where you're actually making real time friendships, lifelong friendships. That is where huge potential comes, right? So, again, going back to the basics, get skin in the game, get leverage, start looking for exclusive deals, start looking for higher payouts, and, start looking for those really good vendors that you can build relationships with both on Skype and in person. And just, with the long-term goal of getting a JV where you can take a percentage and maybe you become partners. Maybe that's an option where you partner with this vendor, where you maybe take a higher percentage, a 50-50 deal, where there's more work involved for you, but potentially that's a huge opportunity that you would never want to miss. So again, I know I'm sort of banging on a little bit, but I hope there's value delivered here. There's numerous ways where you can, make money from this kind of business. It doesn't just have to be about that media buying, affiliate sale and then move on to the next offer. You can definitely find exclusive offers. A lot of vendors are looking to work exclusively with good high volume media buyers. And like I said, that JV opportunity is there. So it just takes the right vendor, the right media buyer, the right offer to really make something like that work. And that could quite easily change the game for you. All right. So hopefully there's some good value there. Any questions, drop them below, and I shall see you in the next video.